Wow.
Hey.
So, are we thinking about calling this like Fund My Startup, or are we thinking about doing that idea?
I think so. I mean, I don't know exactly how it's going to be. We don't even know, like, the actual back end. I mean, like, is this what it's going to be called, Fund My Startup? Or is this I don't know either.
Right. Well, essentially, the idea is that thanks for watching our videos, because in one way or another, just by watching them, the idea is that you are going to be helping us to fund our startup. So the whole concept of this YouTube channel, obviously this is video number 1, the whole concept of the YouTube channel is for us to just talk about our startup journey and I guess just provide value to you guys if we can.
Right? Through everything that we explore, through everything that we find, through just all the insights that we have in moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, so
cool.
What's the first topic?
Right, so the first topic is going to be being in a startup with your significant other. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, so that's what we'll talk about today, is why working with your significant other with your startup is actually the shit.
Exactly.
People talk about it like this is something you shouldn't do. You know, they think that this might ruin your relationship.
And investors perhaps may not invest because it's a relationship, it's a couple-based company.
Exactly, because they think that like if you don't have a stable relationship, then that means that the business won't be stable, I guess.
True.
So like if you're in an argument with your fiance, you know, is the business going to still be able to function properly?
Right. And that's based off the ideas of a relationship. So honestly, I would say if you did not invest in a company because it was ran by a couple, that's honestly a reflection of what your idea of a relationship is. It's not a reflection of the couple.
Exactly.
It's a reflection of the investor's idea of the couple or of a relationship in business. He can't do it himself. The investor can't be in a partnership of a startup with his significant other. And that's why he's just projecting onto you.
Shit. You're like calling them out. Like,
right.
Just because you can't do it, bro, doesn't mean we can't.
Right. I mean, that's
but
why...
But the idea is that every couple is different. That's the thing. Every single couple is different.
Because the fact is that investor actually could have been right.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I need to see you two. We need to hang out. If I'm an investor, like, I need to hang out with you two, the significant others that are actually working on the startup.
Exactly.
So.
But on the other hand, like, again, every single couple is different. But if you do have a startup and you do find that your significant other is also business minded and is into the things that you're into, then it really is the shit. Because it's basically like it's basically like you have another resource with you all the time.
Right.
So it's like
you just have double access.
There's no on and off. So there's no, I have to wait until we get in this meeting to talk about this thing. It's like, I can be in the shower and I'm literally calling Ty like, Ty, I have an idea. There's no on or off. It's like all blended together.
It's all blended in together. Absolutely. Which is great because now, since there is no on and off, there is no contrast. And we can't be like, oh, it's time to work now.
Yeah, it's like always time to work.
It's always time to work. We're not working.
Yeah, at any moment. We could be at the grocery store thinking about CollegeHive. Like last night, it was 11 o'clock at night and we were talking about CollegeHive.
Right.
So there's no on-off period. So it's actually really great. But maybe we should back up. They don't know anything about our startup.
Exactly.
So what do you think?
Well, our startup essentially is a group messaging app for college students. And we allow college students basically to make it easier for them to actually just find, interact, and participate in campus culture. And I just love the idea of what we're doing. I could ramble. Now I'm about to ramble. I just love the idea of refining access. So if you take a look at what Facebook did, you have access to your friends and family even when you're not there. And they have that on a general scope. But what we are doing is refining the lines, or adding more lines within the grid that you can have different points of access to. And that is an example, or I guess is the structure, I guess it, fuck, I'm just rambling like a mother.
I mean, it's all that.
What?
I mean, it is all that.
It is literally, I'm just expressing why I like it, because what we're doing is just allowing students to have access where they otherwise would not.
Exactly.
And I take a look at it like as a grid point. Facebook is, imagine the lines of longitude and latitude, and that's what Facebook is. You can connect point to point to point. But what about with between those points? There are no points. That's what we're creating. We're creating more lines of connections, intricate, in-depth lines of connections.
Right. It's more of an in-depth platform. You know, you can do things on here that you wouldn't be able to on another platform, because this is a platform that is specifically geared towards a particular, not even a particular market, not even a particular demographic, but a particular campus. Exactly. Like, the app is different for every single campus. So
even though I want you to, can you explain exactly, because I just got too excited and just rambled. So can you please, again,
yes,
in a simplistic form, as if we were pitching an investment, what is CollegeHive?
What is CollegeHive?
Right? Because that's the back end answer.
Okay. That's the passionate answer.
Exactly.
Okay, so CollegeHive is our startup, and it is essentially a group messaging app that automatically groups you with your interests on campus.
Right, and that automatically groups you with your classes.
Yeah, that's an interest. Yeah, so right. So classes,
your major,
your hometown. Imagine signing up for an app platform, and then you are automatically put into all of these subsets of your interests on campus. So that's what our startup is.
Dormitory. Your roommate, that's sick.
We've been doing this for about a year now, and it's been really exciting. And Tyrone has been on board since day one of the launch.
You guys can call me Ty. I don't know why she said Tyrone.
I just like calling him by his full name sometimes. It's powerful. So let's back up. Now that you guys know what our startup is, and you know that we're obviously passionate about it, what made me, the coder, the idea person, the person who came up with this whole thing, what made me want to ask my boyfriend, who has no technical knowledge, okay, to come on board with me? Well, back when I was in college, me and my friends had this social media marketing business. Even then, even though it was my the whole thing was not my idea, but I was the one that basically came to them with a seed, and I said, us four, we should come together and we should do something. And that was when I first realized that even though I view myself as an executor, like I feel like I can do a lot of different things. Like, yeah, I can code, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. I realized that you can't do everything, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I can do everything, but even if I did everything that I could, there's no substitute for having a team. Because
you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, like, what are the subsets of CollegeHive? Like, there's the coding, then there's the marketing, then there's the outreach. Like, I can do all those things.
Exactly.
But there's no substitute for having a second brain who can think of something that I wouldn't have thought of, who can expand my horizons. There's no substitute for having someone who I can go to and bounce ideas off of, and then they can help my ideas to grow. There's no substitute for someone else being invested in your in something that you're also passionate about, and them coming up with ideas that you wouldn't have. It's like just the fact that I am only in one body and I only have one brain can be a limitation. So when I was in college, you know, I learned that lesson, and after I graduated and I kind of had the, you know, gist for the idea for CollegeHive, I spent about 10 months learning how to code, and Ty was living with me, and he was just so supportive the entire time. You know, I would ask him, you know, test this app out that I just made, and he'd do it, and we'd get excited together, and he was always just so supportive of me in that journey that the day that CollegeHive was about to launch, I was thinking, this is never going to work if I don't have a team. Like, it's just never going to work. There's a lot of things that I lack, and it's just personality, you know, just personality traits that I may be missing that I know is going to be important for us to get this to the next level. So I took Ty out to dinner. I will never forget. Yeah, we were at 23rd and Main.
You didn't take me out to dinner. We
went to dinner.
She's making it seem like she's making it seem like this was all planned. It was not planned.
No, it was planned.
No,
when we went to the dinner, I knew this is what I was going to ask you. And if you remember correctly, I went through an entire pitch. Like, I told you about the idea, I told you about CollegeHive, and then...
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, because it wasn't that big of a deal for him. But to me, it was, because it was this moment of where I went from having 100% of my idea and feeling like I'm able to code it on my own, I'm able to market it on my own, so it didn't necessarily make logical sense to add someone else on, if you just think about those kinds of things. But I knew that having someone else just involved is a powerful thing.
Right.
So I took him out to dinner. I gave him a whole pitch. He doesn't remember that. He doesn't remember the pitch because, you know, I'm a good salesperson like that. But I pitched the whole thing to him. I told him, you know, the big vision. Then I was saying, like, I feel like we should do this together. I feel like the universe is saying we should do this together. And this was at the time in which Ty was actually dealing with a company called Vipassana, which is kind of like a network marketing company, but it was mostly like a social network marketing company. So, you know, he was just talking to people all day long, something that I do not like to do. And I was just thinking he would be perfect for that side because I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to people all day. I don't want to talk to campus ambassadors, but I know that that's necessary to get there. And I know that sometimes I can come off intense. And I know that Ty, when he talks to people just open up to this motherfucker like a flower. So, yes, they do. People will tell Ty their secrets. It's things that they will never tell me. So, with that being said, I just recognized that Ty had like some sort of a gift when it comes to talking to people in that way. Something that I don't think I could ever have. So, to me, asking him to come on board, it gave us additional assets. It also gave me the idea that the belief that this is going to be something just multiplied by 2. Because now it's 2 of us that believe this. And I think that that's very valuable when you're thinking about momentum with your startup. And then 3, it, you know, also, like I said earlier, we have a resource always. It's like, as the CEO, for me to have my boyfriend come on board, it was like, this is a human resource for 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
So it gave me all of those things. So it made sense. And I mean, what's your opinion on it? How's your experience been?
It's been great. I mean, as far as it's always exploring, it's always thinking, we were always doing that anyway. That's why I kind of disagree. You kind of staged it as if it was like planned. And to me, it wasn't planned. And that's only because nothing really changed other than the label and other than titling me being a part of CollegeHive. I was always a part of CollegeHive. We just realized, I felt like this was more of a realization than, okay, this is what we're doing. That's how I experienced it.
Right.
Anyway.
But as the CEO, like, you're always thinking about your company as if it's always been a $1 billion company.
Right.
So whenever we're bringing someone new on, in my mind, I'm thinking about that cut. So even though you've always been a part of it, that was kind of, to me, my official way of saying you're really a part of it now.
Right,
and
by drawing a line where it already exists.
Yeah, and even though you were always supporting
Illusion
me,
of power.
even though you were always supporting me in the coding, now you had your own set of responsibilities.
Right.
And you now have the power to get excited about yourself. Now it's not about supporting me, it's about supporting yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, quick question for you. What are your thoughts on my ruthless opinions about the hard work you do on the product? So, because all the time, right, what do I mean? I mean, you'll code something for really long, and I know that I would give you a ruthless answer. I don't sugarcoat it. We don't oh well,
right.
It's just, you get it all.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the ruthless answers that I do give in relationship to the product or in relationship to anything that we are contemplating on? And how does that affect the relationship in and outside the startup that we're doing?
That's a really good question.
Thanks.
So, and it is great because I don't think you've ever asked me that, like, explicitly in that way.
You're welcome.
So, I feel like, okay, two things. Basically what you're saying is after I code something and then I show it to you, this does happen often. I will code something, I'll spend all day coding something, and then I show it to Ty and he'll go,
no.
He's like, it just doesn't look good. Like, fuck you, dude. Especially, like, since you don't code.
Exactly.
It's frustrating.
It's like so easy. It's interesting. I'm more in the CEO position where basically I have like imagine workers working for me, and I just decide, yes, this is okay, this is not.
Right.
It's almost in that way. And I'm aware of that. I understand that. Like,
But
I understand that I am coming from a place of not putting any work in.
Exactly.
At all. I understand that. But nonetheless, that will not excuse me from not being ruthless or being completely transparent or open.
Exactly. Here's the rest of my statement.
Yeah.
So when Tyrone does that, in the moment, it's frustrating. Because
you don't know
it's
what
like,
I put into this.
Exactly. I'm thinking about all the hours that I put into something. I'm getting frustrated at the point that sometimes you can't properly explain what you want me to change.
True.
All you can say is what it's not. You can say it doesn't look good.
Coming
It's
from the
not
user's
easy.
perspective.
I don't like these colors, but you can't always express the positives.
Exactly.
Like, I want this color, or it should do this.
And
so
this
that's
iteration, I've been able to do that a
right.
way longer.
Sure. Yes, you have. So, so that is frustrating in the moment. However, that is exactly what I need in my life.
Right.
And every time you do that, it makes me realize that asking you to be a part of this was the right thing.
Right.
Because like I was saying earlier, I do feel like sometimes I can be very blatant, and I feel like I can be ruthless.
Absolutely.
And I feel like to other people, at least this is the feedback that I've gotten, sometimes I may be kind of intense to where people don't always want to tell me their opinions. They want to protect maybe me from saying something back. I don't know. But the fact that you don't have that barrier at all, the fact that you are ruthless about, no, it just doesn't look good, that's what I need.
Right.
That it seems like I can't Like, that's not something that I can just get from anyone.
Exactly.
It takes a very special person to be able to say that to me. And even though I'm frustrated in the moment, every single time you say that, don't I think about it and I come back?
Well, right. And it's because even though you may get upset in the moment, and in the end you see it's like, it's not about being right or wrong. It's not about actually doing hard work. It's about the actual value that you're providing. And if you can actually do that, on the first try, like, great for you. But that's what it's like really about. That's why I'm able to be ruthless, is because we understand it's not about you being right, and it's not about you being wrong. It's about how do we actually provide value.
Exactly. I couldn't have said that better myself. Like, that's brilliant, because that is why it works for us as a couple, because we both know that.
Exactly.
And a lot of times with like the couple dynamic, what you see is one person wanting to be right and the other person wanting to be right, the other person wanting to get even, one person wanting to, have revenge.
What you're trying to get is an idea that that's what you're trying to get when you do that.
Exactly. So with us, the fact that none of that goes on, we don't do that. And especially with CollegeHive, we don't do that because we realize it's not about
us
at all. It's about, can we provide something of value? If you tell me that something that I've made isn't user friendly, who gives a fuck how much time I've spent on it? Who gives a fuck if you hurt my feelings? It's not about my feelings. It's about providing something of value.
Right.
And I think we both have that foundational understanding, and that's why it works. I have a question for you really quick.
Listening.
How does it feel? With me, I wouldn't say I'm your boss. Obviously not.
Absolutely not. We just found out how I tell you what was... Anyway, go ahead.
I'm definitely not your boss in the way that I don't boss you around. I treat you like an equal. I would do that with every single person. However, my job as the chief executive is to have like an overlooking view on things. Mm-hmm. And in the same way that, like, for instance, you learning SQL, mm-hmm. and me kind of calling you out a couple weekends ago about how is that actually going to help us with the thing that we need very next on the chronological needs, mm-hmm. of CollegeHive. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you feel about me as your girlfriend and as a woman saying that to you as a man? Do you feel
like
anything?
Questioning?
Yeah, and kind of calling you out, sometimes, and, asking you to do things sometimes. How do you feel about me being in like an executive kind of dominant position when we're talking about CollegeHive?
I don't experience it that way at all. Everything that you just said.
Why?
Because I know my own authority. I absolutely know my own authority. And when you know your absolute own authority, someone who even may think that they are more dominant or that they perhaps have more power, I'm not saying that you do, but that have more dominance, that have more power, actually, in your experience, don't.
Right.
That's just a fantasy in their own mind. You're just a character in their role, and that's how they might experience you, but that's a reflection of them. So all of that shit, I don't experience none of that. What I actually experience is literally an equal partner that is side by side. I don't experience any of that. Let's say when you question what I'm actually doing in relationship to CollegeHive and does that actually see fit, I literally see that as you checking on CollegeHive, not trying to be domineering.
Yeah, like puff my chest up at you.
Exactly. Because again, we both understand that it's not about you and it's not about me.
It's about providing value.
Right. So I actually don't experience that at all, which means I don't get insecure in relationship to that at all.
Nice. I mean, because I do think that we might be unique in the way of, there are very little couples. There are very little couples that are founders of startups.
Right.
But how many of those couples is the female the CEO and the male the COO?
Exactly.
And I think that it also, like you just said, it goes back to none of that egoical shit matters.
Right. Because plus, you may have an overview, or that may be your job description to have an overview, a high-level overview of what's going on, but, I mean, I literally have the exact same thing. I feel when you're that close to that person, you also have to have an overview, and a in-depth view, and an intricate view, and a detailed-oriented view. You have to be able to adapt. I really see myself like water, but in relationship to, I guess, the company and understanding, again, like I'm learning how to code right now, but am I going to be the main dominant coder? Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. But it is so I can adapt. It is so I can be a supporter of the whole and have a general understanding.
Exactly. And I think that's what, like, operations
exactly that's exactly
chief
it.
would think like.
Right.
And I think that goes to just one more point that I want to mention is that even when I may come to you and I ask something of you, or I may question something that you're doing, and it's just all to kind of anchor it back to CollegeHive. And the whole idea of that is I can only do what I do 100%. But you're 100% of what you do.
Right.
And, you know, our future secretary is 100% of what she does.
Right.
And everyone is their own puzzle piece that they fill up completely.
Right.
And my job is to just make sure that the puzzle continues to come together.
Right.
So it's never that, like, I feel like I'm better than someone else's puzzle piece. I can only always be my puzzle piece anyway.
Right.
It's never about dominance. It's never about any of that. Everyone is a 100% equal human being. Everyone, in my mind, has equal responsibility because everyone has to do their piece to the 100th degree.
Right.
So, yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is I don't come off that way. And I think that I don't come off that way because I literally don't think of it that way.
Right. Yeah, and I think it has to do with the individual, or me too, because I think a lot of other people that may be in my position may not be able to handle that based off their own ideas and their beliefs about themselves. So it does take, you're right, a particular individual to actually be able to be in this position, hands down.
All in all, I feel like CollegeHive has, I wouldn't even say made our relationship stronger. I feel like it's just given it an additional layer of depth.
Absolutely.
Now we don't only talk about surface stuff. We don't only talk about spiritual stuff.
Right.
But now it's like we have financial and passionate invested interest in the same thing.
Exactly.
It's like having a kid.
It's true. And I think you're right. It just adds another dimension, another layer, another facet of the relationship. There's just so many different, it's multifaceted for sure.
So, I love you.
I love you too.
So, working with your significant other, 1 out of 10, what would you rate it?
10. But it's because of the relationship. It really is because of the relationship. I do not recommend this for everyone.
Exactly.
However, this would be a good thing. How do you know if you're in a good relationship or not? Do a startup.
Exactly. Want to know if you're in a good relationship? Try a fucking startup.
Exactly.
Apply to a few accelerators. Okay? You will be able to tell within that process if this is the one or not.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, just really quick, we're almost out of time here. But we are at this place called Getaway House.
Right.
It's actually pretty freaking dope. So I just want to show you guys really quick. Smells like nothing but wood here. There's this huge window right there. The bed is divine. Check it out. Oh. Talk about the bed, babe.
Well, it's really nice because our bed at home is way too good and it makes you want to sleep in forever. But this one is a little bit firmer. When you wake up, like the bed is, you get in the bed so you can get out, not continually stay in and sleep in. It's not a trap. It is a means to get out and get going.
Exactly.
And that's why,
like, we slept for what, like 7 hours last night?
And we were going to buy
ready.
this type. We got to figure out what mattress this is, because we're going to get it and replace our own, because
like, fuck our mattress. Fuck our own mattress. So essentially, there's this company called Getaway House, and you can rent out tiny houses in the middle of the woods. It's snowing today. So we are indeed in the middle of the woods, guys. And yeah, I mean, it's a tiny house. It's got everything that you would need. Got a kitchen here. We had to figure this out yesterday. Oh, this smart appliance shit. Got even a shower in here. Still haven't used it. Maybe I'll do that next month when we come back. And you got a toilet. I mean, you just got everything. So we've decided that we were going to come here once a month to unwind, because it's that great of an experience here. So most of our...
we played chess. I read my favorite book, or my current favorite book. What else did we do? We talked about CollegeHive.
Exactly.
Like, this is great.
This is great. So we're going to be coming back every month. This is our second month here. So some of our videos, most of our videos, or not most, but a lot of our videos are going to take place in a tiny house. So, all right. Come on, babe. Say bye to the people.
Peace.
Bye, people. And remember, thank you so much for watching, because you are funding our startup by watching. Our goal is to just talk about our journey as startup founders, and with every single view and every single share, you guys are helping us to not necessarily need investors, being able to quit our day jobs and being able to focus on the thing that we're passionate about the most. So thanks so much. You have no idea how much you're affecting our lives by watching. Thanks.
Yes.
I can taste it in my mouth. It's just so